Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch with Crime Talk, and thanks for watching. We have a busy docket today, so let's get right to it. First, is a detective in the Lori Vallow matter related to Chad Daybell? Second, the government wants jurors protected by United States Marshals in the R. Kelly case. Third, a dumb criminal has been arrested. Fourth, Miss Maxwell is assembling quite a legal defense team. Fifth, a man with half a brain gets arrested for attempted murder. Sixth, a neighborhood dispute that goes way too far. Seventh, audio interviews of officers in the Breonna Taylor matter have been released. And finally, our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Let's talk about it. Good day, Crime Talk aficionados. This is Scott Reisch from Crime Talk, and thanks for watching. As always, we'd ask if you haven't already done so, please subscribe, hit that like button, and hit that little bell so that you receive notifications of when we go live or put up new content. We are back in the Crime Talk studios from our little adventure in Las Vegas. A crime was committed, and it was at the craps table. I was robbed. First on the docket, is a detective on the Lori Vallow matter related to Chad Daybell? Well, so there's been some rumors floating around that perhaps Vallow and Daybell are getting special treatment because of relationships at the Rexburg Police Department. I personally don't think that it's true. Anytime you have a small town type of situation, you're going to have people that know people. It's just a reality of a small town. Well, the detective, a man by the name of Dave Hope, appears to be the detective's son is married to a daughter of Chad Daybell's brother, Matt Daybell. The Rexburg Police Department won't comment on this story as to whether it's true or not. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a detective on a case whose son is married to the daughter of Chad Daybell's brother. That's not anything, in my humble opinion, to be alarmed about whatsoever. There's nothing from anything that I have seen from the Rexburg Police Department that would indicate anything other than they're trying to figure out who is responsible for the death and ultimate disappearance of JJ and Tylee. Bottom line, I think this is a non-story, but sometimes headlines get in the way, and that's why you have to explain what really happened. And in this particular case, this is so far removed, it is a non-issue. Next on the docket, the government wants the jurors protected by United States Marshals in the R. Kelly trial. That's right. The United States attorneys are asking that the court authorize that marshals protect the jurors and potential jurors in the case of R. Kelly. The United States attorneys want armed guards at all times because they feel Kelly's legal defense team poses a threat to jurors, but obviously the defense attorneys are denying anything to do with that. The United States attorneys are alleging in filings that the jurors remain anonymous and partially sequestered because they fear that R. Kelly's legal team will, in fact, mess with the potential jurors. The United States attorneys don't want anyone on the defense team to know basically where they work or where they live. The feds argue that the jurors' identities are not crucial to the jury selection progress and argue that this is necessary to safeguard the administration of justice in the judicial process. Prosecutors have literally said that R. Kelly is the part of a racketeering enterprise that he created to use for decades to sexually abuse and exploit women and young girls for his own sexual gratification. The government also wanted to remind the court that R. Kelly has a history of coercing women not to testify against him and use statements that they've previously said to blackmail these potential witnesses so that they don't testify. Now, the defense says this is absolutely ridiculous, and I'm going to have to agree with the defense. It is imperative that the defense know as much information about a juror as possible. Why? Because people have biases. People have biases if they don't jump right out and say that. And for the prosecution to say they don't want to know what anybody does for employment, that is ridiculous. Those United States attorneys may want to go back to trial preparation 101. Everybody knows, and every trial attorney knows, that people have biases. And based upon what they do every day may affect those biases and may affect how they look at a case. It's absolutely imperative that that information be given over. More than likely, the judge should deny this motion, and it's also very likely that the judge will grant the request that the marshals escort and or sequester these jurors during the jury selection process so they aren't subjected to the circus that's going to be outside the courthouse, i.e. the media, for the R. Kelly trial. The United States attorneys need to realize that when they start asking for these type of orders from the court, that it simply creates issues for error on appeal when and if R. Kelly is actually taken to trial and convicted. Let's take a quick recess. So just like in the R. Kelly matter, the information that you have about potential jurors is important. It's relevant. And I guarantee you the prosecutors and the defense will be running background searches on each and every one of those potential jurors. And just like the government and just like the attorneys, you all should have access to a criminal background subscription. Why? So you can find out the information that's relevant. Information is power. It gives you power to make the right decisions. So go to CrimeTalkSearch.com, sign up for the subscription, and a report will be generated of the person that you can search. And let me tell you, you can search as many people as you want, and you can do it anonymously. No one will ever know that you got the report. That report will include information related to social media, telephone records, background history, criminal history relating to sex offender searches as well. We had a subscriber leave a message last week on the page, completely unsolicited, saying that she subscribed to this background service and found out that a gentleman that she was interested in had a background and a criminal history for doing inappropriate things to minor children. She thanked us for it. You should do the same thing, and you will not be disappointed. Get a background subscription. Go to CrimeTalkSearch.com. Next on the docket, a dumb criminal has been arrested. As you may recall, the other day, we put up this video. And this video shows a man getting out of a vehicle, walking up to a young teenager who was dancing on a street corner in Missouri. And the man literally cold cocks the teenager for no apparent reason. Well, that dumb criminal and dumb criminal contestant has actually turned himself in. His name is Cedric Charles Moore. He's being charged with felony assault in the second degree and felony child endangerment in the first degree due to the age of the victim and the violent act. His bond has been set at $50,000 cash only. That's the judge's way of saying, you're going to sit in custody here, young man, until this case is resolved. The district attorney has said that it is impossible to make sense of the brutal, random act of violence against a 12-year-old dancer on a street corner who was minding his own business. The young kid, who's been identified simply as Ethan, apparently, according to his mother, has some real big trust issues right now and is actually afraid to go and dance because he's concerned that he could just be assaulted by somebody walking up to him. I think he's got good reason to do that. And that's what a lot of people don't realize as it relates to a violent crime, or frankly, any crime. You don't trust people. If somebody breaks into your house, you are concerned whether your house is safe. If somebody attacks you, you are going to be worried about that. Those are the things that people do not realize when it comes to violent acts, the ongoing effects that people have emotionally regarding their own safety in the future. Cedric Charles Moore, although we'll give him the presumption of innocence, it is on video, and he should receive a lengthy prison sentence in this particular case. I think all members of the community would be outraged if he received anything other than a prison sentence. Miss Maxwell, the friend of Jeffrey Epstein, has acquired quite a criminal defense team to defend her against the child sex trafficking charges that she faces in federal court relating to her former boyfriend, Jeffrey Epstein. Miss Maxwell has retained Christian Everdell, who was one of the lead attorneys related to the prosecution of El Chapo. She's also retained Mark Cohen, who is also a former prosecutor, to represent her in these matters. As we told you last week, she's also previously retained, and I know that they will be working closely with these new attorneys, are attorneys from Denver, Laura Meninger, as well as Jeffrey Paliuca. I'm familiar with both of these attorneys. They're fine attorneys, and they were retained to represent Miss Maxwell as it related to the civil matters. But both of her civil attorneys are very experienced criminal defense attorneys. They are with the firm of Haddon Morgan Foreman. That name may not ring a bell to you, but let me refresh why it is important. Haddon Morgan Foreman is one of the top criminal defense terms in town. One of the founders of that firm, Mr. Haddon, who's all but retired these days, was the attorneys for the Ramsey family. You know, that little case in Boulder called Jean Bonnet. They did a pretty good job there. No criminal cases were ever filed. Also, Pam Mackey is a member of that firm who has represented individuals in some very high-profile cases. In particular, a guy by the name of Kobe Bryant. That's right. Pamela Mackey and her team got that case dismissed. Miss Maxwell has the definite advantage of having financial resources. And when you have financial resources, you can put up a very strong fight against the government and really hold the government to their proof beyond a reasonable doubt. I've said this before, justice is expensive, but injustice costs a hell of a lot more. Miss Maxwell can certainly afford a lot of injustice. Next on the docket, a man with half a brain is arrested for attempted murder. That's right, a South Florida man with half a brain is facing attempted murder charges for arson because he set his mattress on fire. Police say that Carlos Rodriguez, who's 31, set his mattress on fire at his Miami home Monday afternoon. 2 victims were inside the duplex connected to the house, and police say that the fire posed a risk to the occupants. I'm not making this up. Mr. Rodriguez, who apparently goes by the nickname of, quote, Haffy, end quote, is actually seen on a YouTube video explaining how he lost half his skull in a car accident. On the video, he says he was, quote, barred out on drugs when he hit a pole with his car and flew through the windshield and landed on his head.
I was barred out on drugs, and I was driving, and I hit a pole, and I flew out the front window and landed on my head.
Damn, show everybody what happened. God damn, that's crazy, though.
And this is how y'all boys come out. That's why it's no good. Drinking and driving, or drugness and driving, no good, kids. No good.
You can't make this stuff up, ladies and gentlemen. Next on the docket, a neighborhood dispute that goes just a little too far. An 82-year-old man fatally shot 2 neighbors, including an 11-year-old girl, following a disagreement about a dog. Ronald Del Soro, 82, killed 55-year-old Guy Alexander Hansman and his daughter, Harper Hansman, on Monday in Port Lucius, Florida. Del Soro traded gunfire with the St. Lucia Police Department afterwards, where he was ultimately found deceased inside his home. It's uncertain as to the cause of death, whether it was police fire or self-inflicted. The police believe that this was an intentional act of violence against his neighbors. The shooting apparently occurred following a court hearing in which Del Soro's bull mastiff was deemed dangerous. The dog Roxy had reportedly bit a woman who lived with Hansman and his daughter back in March. It was 11-year-old Harper who called the police amid Monday's shooting incident, according to the police. An officer reportedly suffered a gunshot after arriving at the scene and has since been released. We talked about neighborhood disputes the other day, and you add a neighborhood dispute involving a dog, that's going to escalate things like this. Handled lots of neighbor disputes. They usually don't end well. You throw in the fact that a dog has been found dangerous, which usually means somebody wants to put the dog down. That, ladies and gentlemen, are cases that are fought extremely hard. One of the attorneys in my office handled a case regarding 2 dogs just a couple of weeks ago, and I'm telling you, this is the equivalent of a death penalty case for an animal. People treat their animals like their family, their children. And so when you say you're going to have one of your animals destroyed, people take it very seriously. And I'm not condoning what Mr. Del Soro did here. Clearly, he was wrong. He could have moved. He could have done something with the dog. But I'm just telling you, it's a dangerous world out there, ladies and gentlemen. Be careful. Sometimes you just have to let things go. Is it really worth it? Next on the docket, another quick recess. All right, let's talk about the safety siren. Ladies and gentlemen, it is a dangerous world out there. Criminals will look for people that they think are vulnerable. They will look for people and situations where they think no one is watching and that they can simply get away with it. Now, let's face it, not everyone in the world is going to be armed. Not everyone is going to be able to take with them a security tape everywhere they go. Do you know what you can take with you everywhere you go? You can take the safety siren, all right? Look at the size of this thing. Look how tiny this is. This fits on a key ring. It can fit in your pocket. You may not even think it's even there. It's so tiny and lightweight. But guess what? If somebody comes up to you and you feel uncomfortable and you feel as though you need to draw attention to the situation to get somebody to leave or to leave you alone, all you simply have to do is to pull the pin on the safety siren. Here we go. And what's going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Because criminals don't want to be identified. They don't want to cause a scene. They're going to run, and they're going to run like hell. And you can have this and put it in your pocket. Put it on your keychain. Give it to your kids. Give it to your wife. Give it as a gift to anybody who wants to be protected. That's all you have to do. Go to CrimeTalkOffers.com, find the safety siren, click and get it. You'll be absolutely satisfied and happy that you did. Next on the docket, audio of interviews have been released in the Breonna Taylor case. For those of you who don't recall, Breonna Taylor was the medical technician that lived in Louisville, Kentucky with her boyfriend, and the police thought that drugs were being sent to her residence via the United States mail. Now, the Postal Service says they don't necessarily agree with that assessment, and there's some issues regarding the affidavit that was prepared and signed by a judge in the Taylor matter. Additionally, there's some big issues regarding whether it was a no-knock raid. No-knock raids are dangerous because in this particular situation, Breonna Taylor and Kenneth Walker, her boyfriend, were in their residence, and at roughly about 1 a.m. in the morning, while they were upstairs dozing off while watching a movie, they heard a loud banging noise. They shouted, "Who is it?" According to Mr. Kenneth Walker, he says he received no response, no warning, anything along those lines. He then scrambled to get dressed, and Walker grabbed a handgun that he was licensed to possess. They were standing in the hallway when the door opened up in an explosion. Some 26 rounds were fired by police officers. Breonna Taylor was struck by 8 of them. Kenneth Taylor was originally charged, but the district attorney dismissed those charges once this case received much more publicity. One officer was fired, but not for his conduct related to the Breonna Taylor matter. Now, the audio tapes of these interviews have been released, and we are going to put them up, and we'll have a link below where you can listen to those interviews in their entirety. Now, the police say that they knocked and they did everything correct. Mr. Walker says he didn't hear any knocks. There's a possibility both sides could be right here. You take a listen. Let me know in the comments who you think should be believed. And finally today, I know it was a long docket, but our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Our dumb criminal contestant is Dirk Davis. Now, I received a comment the other day where I said people shouldn't take their cell phones if they're going to commit a crime. Now, I am not advocating for people committing crime, but let's be realistic. People are going to do it. I responded to the comment by saying it's unfortunate that they were offended by me telling somebody that somehow they shouldn't take their cell phone anywhere because of the large amount of information that can be collected. But ladies and gentlemen, no one has a right not to be offended. If you don't like what we're saying, you can go to a different channel. You don't have to watch. But to email me or make a comment saying that I need to apologize because you were offended, guess what? Not going to happen. These are the facts, ladies and gentlemen, and I give you my analysis based upon my 25 years of experience. Okay? Now, the dumb criminal contestant of the day, he made a lot of mistakes. Am I advocating that you go rob people? Absolutely not. But it's here to explain how someone got caught. It's so people understand how things take place in the judicial process and in the investigation stages of a case. That's what we bring to you based upon our experience doing what I have done over the years. So, our next contestant, Dirk Davis. Well, Dirk should probably be a little nicer to his family and friends because Dirk walked into the Hard Rock Casino, went to the clerk's window and said, I don't want to cause a scene. Give me the money. I want it all in hundreds. Well, obviously, Dirk must be a dumb criminal contestant. First, he robs a casino. There's lots of security at a casino. And what is there more of at a casino than any other establishment in the world? That's right, video cameras. Well, when Dirk Davis walked in to rob the Hard Rock Casino, he apparently didn't realize that there were surveillance cameras at a casino. So that gets him dumb criminal contestant strike number 1 for the day. Number 2, when the police put the video or a screenshot of the video up for people to provide information as to the identity of this particular individual, not only did Dirk Davis's friends report him, his family, that's right, his family, 3 members of his own family turned him in and said, that is Dirk Davis. Ultimately, the police catch up with Mr. Davis in Florida. Then he says, I know why you're here. I want my lawyer. Now, Mr. Davis, you do get a couple of brownie points for saying, I want my lawyer. But the I know why you're here is going to be used against you. Hence the reason why you say nothing other than, I want a lawyer. And finally, why does Mr. Davis get our dumb criminal contestant of the day? Well, when they searched the area where he was arrested in, they found a pair of black latex gloves and a pair of sunglasses with stickers on them found on the sidewalk near the casino on the night of the robbery. When they searched the home of Mr. Davis, they turned up a pair of black sneakers that appear to match the shoes worn by the robber in the surveillance camera. It was added to the collection of evidence that the police already had against Davis, which included a pair of black latex gloves and a pair of sunglasses with the sticker on them found on the sidewalk near the casino the night of the robbery, all of which can be swabbed for DNA evidence. So, Mr. Davis, lots to be learned here. You almost did good on lawyering up, but you said, I know why you're here, which is going to be used against you. You're on video. You robbed a store. You robbed a casino on video. Everybody should know that there's video cameras and surveillance at a casino. So for all of those reasons, Mr. Davis, you are our dumb criminal contestant of the day. Now, tomorrow, Mr. Davis will be competing with lots of fine entries this week, and they will be in the running for being crowned the Dumb Criminal Contestant of the Week. And what does the Dumb Criminal Contestant of the Week get? That's right. They get a Crime Talk mug at no expense to them. I will personally mail it to them, but all they have to do is email me at scott@scottreisch.com. Give me their address, and we will mail that mug to them. We have yet to have anybody claim a prize, but I somehow think we're getting close. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on Crime Talk.